of inaction if we don't act on climate aggressively. Thank you very much.
On our next panel, we've got Adrienne Esposito, Megan Ahern, and Eric Weltman come on up to the stage. And the fourth panel beyond that, Khalil Shahid, Dr. Vijay Lemay, and Patrick McLennan, you're on deck. As you see, we're enforcing our 3-minute rule going forward, so I'll have to get at my hook if you guys try to go beyond that. So we want everyone to have a chance to speak, and so we're here through the whole night. Turn it over to you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Adrienne Esposito. I'm the Executive Director of Citizens Campaign for the Environment. Thank you for allowing me to add our voices to the people's hearing for the Clean Power Plan. I'll also pretend that Administrator Pruitt is in the room. Administrator Pruitt, we are here to tell you that we believe that weakening or getting rid of the Clean Power Plan is irresponsible, it's dangerous, and it's also negligent. That even if the EPA, which is supposed to be the Environmental Protection Agency, and unfortunately has turned into the Eliminating Protections Agency, even if they're not going to feel strongly about protecting children, 90,000 asthma attacks, 3,600 premature deaths, the 300,000 missed days of work, and preventing 1,700 heart attacks, even if that's not compelling to them, let's talk about the real impacts of climate change. Because New York, as we know, is on the front lines. And let's look at upstate New York, because there's enough very good people here who can talk about the impacts to New York City. New York's a big state with big problems and big challenges. In New York, in Lake Ontario this year, we had some of the largest flooding in the history of that region. And that is because of unprecedented precipitation and also snow melt in the spring. That flooding caused roads to break down, caused infrastructure, shoreline flooding as well, and shoreline erosion. It caused homes to be damaged. And the economic impact was tens of millions of dollars to have emergency response and also restoration efforts to occur in just that one area. So it's not just coastal communities throughout America, it is in many communities throughout America where these economic but also societal impacts are being felt and are being costing us a lot of money. You know, I live on Long Island, so I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the impacts of climate change to Long Island. Superstorm Sandy isn't a memory of yesterday, it's a wake-up call for today. We lost everything in some communities. We lost schools, hospitals, homes, cars, boats, jobs, businesses, literally everything. And, you know, I volunteered on a crew to help homeowners who didn't have insurance or couldn't help themselves. And every weekend we went into people's homes and we literally tore down the walls if they had mold. We got up the tile floors because the underneath was filled with black mold. And we took out of their home everything they owned. Everything. From clothing to children's toys to the walls to photo albums, and we dumped it at the curb for the garbage men to pick up because they couldn't keep it. And impacts like that you can't see and you can't experience and you can't know from the plush real estate of the penthouse in Trump Towers. But you know it when you experience it, and it is our moral and ethical obligation to mitigate that. And it's not just those main big storms. It's ocean acidification. All 3 estuaries on Long Island have higher acidity levels today than they did 5 years ago, according to Stony Brook University research. That means the shellfish industry and the finfish industry will be adversely impacted, are being adversely impacted. Also, we have saltwater intrusion into our aquifer system, which means wells that are now supplying drinking water to 3 million people will no longer be viable very soon. So these are challenges that need to be undertaken, and we can now not hide our head in the sand and be climate deniers. So to all of you, the governor, the DEC, New York State Attorney General, the mayor, and our agencies, really, I want to say to you that we need you now more than ever. And I know you're on the front lines for us, but I want to add the fuel to your fire because you know the famous saying that all that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. So we need you to amplify your voice and all the good men and women who are here today to use our voice to fight. We can't wait 3 years. The clock is ticking. My clock is ticking, I know. But the clock is ticking and the damages are happening now. We cannot repeal the Clean Power Plan. We cannot backtrack. We cannot go back to the 1970s where pollution was abundant and rampant and accepted. So thank you for your efforts, and we appreciate your fight and your support, and we're there with you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Meg.